Welcome to another video session by Indus Gurukul. Today's topic is letter writing. Let's gather the information of the current letter writing rules and formats. According to the CBSE curriculum, there are the letters of two types, informal and formal letter writing. So there have been changes off and on by the CBSE. We get that information and we have to use and assimilate that. As we see over here, there are no changes have been observed in the case of a format of letter writing in the informal letter. At the top, writer's address is mentioned. Right after that, you have to mention the date and then use salutation. You have to write the body of the letter in approximately 3 paragraphs. The first paragraph includes and contains the introduction of the subject. The second contains the main content, the description of the entire theme of the question, and the third paragraph includes the conclusion of the letter or the salutation. The ending part of the letter includes subscription or the name of the writer. This format of informal is followed by the CBSE. Let's understand what we have just read in the format, in the practical format that we are supposed to write. As we see, the first comes is the address of the writer. The writer, that means if I am writing or you are writing, you will mention your address over here, followed by the date, then the superscription or the salutation, and then you have the body of the letter, which can be in 3 parts or 3 paragraphs. In fact, the difference of the 3 paragraphs very clear: introduction, main content, and the end of the letter which hold the conclusion, and ending with it would be the subscription, or you can say the writer's name, where you can give salutation and the name. Whereas note the informal letter writing points, that is, while writing a letter to the parent or any elder, respected father, respected mother, respected uncle, these are the connotations supposed to be used. Whereas dear father, dear mother or dear uncle is generally more commonly used. Informal letters to the people or relatives or friends of the same age, we use dear friend, dear cousin, that way. We have to stick to the point while writing the body or the main content of the letter, or rather than getting evasive or misled or distracted from the main idea. Body of the letter must end in 3rd paragraph. First paragraph only contains a description of the small incidents in a small. The second is elaborative of the entire incidents with the reasoning for writing the letter, and the 3rd paragraph contains a conclusion, as we mentioned. Now, if we take the example of these questions and solve them, let's take and understand. Write a letter to your friend congratulating him or her on his success in the class 12 board exam, or write a letter to your elder brother asking him to guide you in making the right career choice. Or you can take another one by writing a letter to your grandfather asking him to come and stay with your durations in your vacations. In all this letter, what would be changing is the address of the writer and the receiver, and the content that you are supposed to write majorly in the middle section, and whereas the person you're addressing, the salutation, the entire format of what comes, what follows what remains the same. Like you have the address line of the writer followed by the date, the recipient's name, introduction, the body, conclusion, merely this entire in 3 paragraph. You have your exiting text, that is salutation, and the sender's name. We've taken one of the examples, one of the questions from the top, and we try to solve that. You can clearly see that the address is mentioned with the date, with the sender's connotation, and then in 3 paragraphs we have detailed the entire story. As my happiness knows no bounds when I got that you have topped your school and achieved your dream. So we have taken the first question and trying to solve and understand that we are writing a letter to our cousin, a friend who has just passed out his 12th board exam. So the result has proved that the hard work, determination and perseverance bring good results. You were fabulous, you were laborious, passionate about it. I know you were very nervous too, but I was always very confident that you would come with flying colors. You can see in the second paragraph we clearly have detailed out the entire process of, or the main topic that is being discussed is in the second paragraph. Hope to see you soon is a conclusive line to end the entire text. And just to give a further conclusion, please be encouraged, continue hard work, your future is very bright. My parents and elders have sent a lot of love and hearty congratulations. Should be the kind of ending sentences that you should be mentioning in your third paragraph. With salutations and wishes, like with lots of love and best wishes, this comes under informal letters, merely yours lovingly and your name, Shefali. So this is the format of the most informal letters that one comes across. Let's take the second question. That is, we are over here writing a letter to the elder brother, asking him to guide you in your career. Similar thing that you can see, the format remains the same. And the first paragraph discussing in short about the introduction of what you are going to discuss in detail in the second paragraph. It's been a while since I've heard from you. How have you been? I hope this letter finds you in best in health and cheerful. This is just merely an introduction. These days I'm a little confused about my career choices. Seek your guidance for the same. To be very directly coming to the topic, my friends and family have advised me to grab this opportunity and join one. The conclusion holds a little bigger, because here is a confusion lying in the mind of the writer, and to gain some guidance. So I want to prepare for government job, as it has always been my dream to be a part of the system that governs us. I know competition is high these days. So this is describing, finally saying, I want your honest advice. Okay. So in this letter you can see that the first two holds up most of the introduction part of it, but the major discussion happens as seeking advice in the final paragraph, where concluding it as well. So let's take an example of the third type of question. The third question, which mentioned about to write a letter to your grandfather asking him to come and stay with your, as in vacations, in the vacations. So the connotation, the format remains the same, only is what makes the difference is the way you are addressing the situation. First paragraph you see is the introduction, okay, whereas the second is giving you briefing about the situation, about the summers and the vacations that you're talking about. We were thinking that you can come and stay with us, and it has been long, so projecting the implications about whether they like him to come and stay. And the third one concluding their happiness and excitement that they would be feeling once he comes there in the vacation and they enjoy. So by ending sentence would be hope to see you soon, that way, because you're wanting and expecting the person to come and stay with you, and closing it by simple saying yours lovingly and your name. Okay. Now let's come to the formal letter part of the CBSE curriculum, and these are introduced as they are given. The curriculum being given as CBSE's format is, the sources of writing a letter had never been official and just based on the government school format like the KVS. Now students can use any of them, both the format are in use, no marks will be deducted using any formats. This is the curriculum information passed by the CBSE. Students have the choice to use two as per the wish. Now what it means, let's understand by this format. The formal letter includes the sender's address, the date, the receiver's designation, the subject, then the salutation. So unlike the informal letters, the receiver's designation and the subject is what is introduced in between the date and the salutation. Body, the rest of the format remains the same except for the introduction of the designations, receiver's designation address and the purpose of writing the letter, that is a subject. The important points to be noted is the way you have to be writing the format. Sender's address always being on the left side, just next to the margin. You have to mention the date just below the sentence address. Receivers, after that write the address. Subject of the letter, you have to mention the subject in 4-5 words or not in a phrase, not in more than one big sentence. Salutation, and then you have body in the first 3 paragraphs, the complimentary closing, and then the centers or signatures name with the designation if applicable, because this is a formal letter. Here are 2 questions, like you are Rahul Raj of sector B, municipal cooperative colony, that's the address being given, and you have to write a letter to the editor of the newspaper of HT of the particular address, complaining against the bad conditions of the roads in your community. Okay, and the other one is writing a letter to the principal requesting permission for absence for 5 days on account of your sister's marriage. What you need to understand and note is, while writing the letters to the editor, only sir or madam should be used. We are not using dear sir or dear madam, unlike in the other formal letters, excluding the editor. Now we have to stick to this point, and the body of the letter must end in 2 paragraphs, unlike 3 in case of informal letters. The second paragraph mostly holds the conclusion or asking, and there is no introduction. The body of the first paragraph directly elaborates the decision, the incidents or the reason for the writing of letter. Let's take this first question where we are writing a letter to the editor, okay, complaining him about the bad condition of the roads in our community. So we are writing the writer's address followed by the date. As we mentioned over here, this 2 over here is optional. You may use it, you may not use it. That marks won't be deducted as per CBSE curriculum concern. You will address the person with the designation, that is the editor, HT Times, with the address, then followed by the subject, which briefly tells you about what the letter is talking about, as over here, bad condition of roads in our locality, and then you will address as simply sir or madam, not dear sir or dear madam. Okay, then you address directly without any introduction as an informal letter, that you have I want to draw an attention to the concerned authorities towards the bad condition of the roads and localities, and second paragraph would directly come back with the conclusion. The first paragraph itself gives the entire details of the incidents and the reason for the writing of the letter, and the rest remains the same. Okay, you clearly read it. This road, the road used by many people, vehicles, serve as a link, and we are giving the reasoning over here. What are the different hazardous problems that we are facing in everyday life? Therefore, by your newspaper, I want to draw attention so that the concerned authorities take immediate action. This is what you are expecting as a conclusion, or expecting the editor to take actions on, and that would be the conclusive sentence with your closing line and your name. Now in this case, if you hold some kind of designation authority, you can write that designation over here as well. Taking on the next question, which is a letter to the principal regarding the leave that you want for your sister's marriage. The format remains the same. The details of the principal, the address of yours, the date, address and the designation of the principal, the subject that you want to apply for a leave, and then the addressing of the person, and then in 2 paragraphs, 2 to 3 paragraphs, you can mention your problem or your reason of writing the letter, and with closing connotation, signing off by your name. So that's what it is. It's just a brief overview of how to write a letter, formal and informal. Thank you. Further queries, in any case you have, you can just text to the WhatsApp number mentioned over here.